Huge shout out to Leo over at SHEHDS or SHEHDS for sending me their latest in stage lighting innovation. Jerry back with that Theatrically Jerry, and today we are going to be reviewing SHEHDS GalaxyJet 300 watt beam spot wash stage light. So this is a 3-in-1 mover. This is model SH-Galaxy 300B-BPUS. Now I'm telling you that because they do have a older version of the GalaxyJet 3-in-1. This is their newest version, and we're going to check out some of the latest upgrades to this fixture. Included with purchase is your user manual, and SHEHDS does a great job of going over maintenance as well as precautions when using this fixture, so I definitely am going to tell you to keep your user manual because there is a lot of important information on here, including your technical specifications as well as your DMX channel table, so you can do a manual profile if you want. However, SHEHDS does offer several different types of fixture profiles for different consoles, so definitely keep that in mind. It's also going to go over the user menu, and we're going to go over that later on the review as well, so keep this. You're also getting a power connector. Not sure why SHEHDS went with gold, but if someone could tell me, that would be great. Usually gold or yellow means water resistant, and this light fixture is not IP rated for water, so not sure about that one, but just wanted to point that out. You're also getting a matching 3-pin DMX cable, and something I am going to mention is SHEHDS has really stepped up their game in terms of quality control. So this 3-pin DMX cable feels great. This power connector has a super thick jacket on it, so you don't have to worry about this wearing out anytime soon. So they're actually doing a great job listening to their customer base and also upping their quality on their light fixtures. You're also getting a safety cable, and it is not a thin safety cable, as you can see. It is rated for this light fixture. I love seeing safety being implemented in the lighting industry, so great job on that as well. This fixture is a professional level mover that won't break the bank. Because it's a professional light fixture, its size is also hefty. It measures in at 22.8 inches tall by 11.6 inches wide by 8.6 inches deep. That's from the front to the back. This is also a heavy fixture, weighing in at 32.187 pounds. It's a mixture of flame-resistant plastic and aluminum. I'm used to moving professional-sized fixtures, and this feels very durable to me in my hands. It's actually on the lighter size than some of my other pro-level movers that weigh in at over 40 pounds. So this, to me, is a breeze to hang. I like the size, form factor, as well as the weight of this fixture. Speaking of hanging, before we get into this review any deeper, SHEHDS has finally included professional C-clamps that fold into the base of this light. I loved seeing this addition, and it makes hanging from a batten or truss a breeze. So another thing they listened to with their customer base is we wanted quicker and easier hangs of our fixtures. So now we do have foldable C-clamps here, and they do have a spring-loaded system, so they're easy to tighten and untighten. The front of this fixture features some truly welcomed upgrades. We have a generous-sized full-color high-resolution display. This makes navigating the graphical user interface a breeze. To the right of the LCD display is a unique-looking button system. These are tactile physical buttons arranged in a circular pattern, and it's both pleasing to the eyes and easy to navigate the user interface with these. I was glad to see they passed over the touch-sensitive button fad that's been going on right now in the lighting industry, and then they just stuck with these actual physical buttons. The capacitive buttons are just not practical or responsive enough, although they do make the fixture look more streamlined by hiding the sensors behind the glass pane here. However, these buttons, you're guaranteed every time you click it that they're going to move and operate, whereas the capacitive ones are usually hit and miss in my experience. So I was glad to see this, and I really do like this circular layout because it's just easier to navigate. It's almost like having a joystick. Great to see that. To the left of the LCD display is a DMX and error LED indicator. So what that is going to do is this is going to light up when you're receiving a solid DMX signal to this fixture, and this red LED is going to light up as error if the fixture encounters an error during its boot process, where it's actually going to go through all of the protocols for checking to make sure the fans are working, the temperature is correct, as well as homing position on your motors and all the other built-in sensors. So if you ever do have a problem with this fixture, you're going to get an error light, and that's going to help you diagnose the fixture's problem a lot quicker. So I loved seeing that. Something that is new with the GalaxyJet series is this service port right here. So this is a USB-C service port, and you plug a USB-C power bank into the service port, and you can program your fixtures on the fly instead of having to power them on. This is super useful, and I have seen this before on VShow's S711, except instead of a power bank, VShow has a built-in lithium-ion battery. But how cool is this to include with the new GalaxyJet series? This can also be used as an upgrade port for the software on board. Let's go ahead and take a look at the optics. So we have a 100mm glass lens here that helps render a super sharp 2 to 22 degree beam angle. So it has a zoom function, obviously. More on that later. Surrounding the glass optics is a RGB ring. This is capable of creating dynamic macros, and we'll take a look at that later on in this review as well. But this is something new to the GalaxyJet series. So the older 300 watt BSW didn't have this new dynamic ring on the front here. So I'm super excited to see just how well that looks paired with this fixture. The back of SHEHDS 300 watt GalaxyJet BSW features dual DMX IOs. So we have a more professional looking 5-pin DMX in as well as out, and the more traditional 3-pin in and out. So this is very versatile. I love seeing both pairs together. This also makes the fixture look more professional, because a lot of professional light fixtures are using the 5-pin protocol, but either protocol is fine. They both work. They just used 5 instead of 3 because a lot of people were plugging audio XLRs into these. So it's basically the same thing, but I love seeing that they've included this. It makes the fixture look so much more professional. So great job on that, guys. To the right of that is our PowerCom power in and out, again with the macaroni and cheese colored yellow orange plug here, which I'm not really sure what that means, but if anyone knows, go ahead and leave it in the comments, because generally this color means that it is for outdoors and it's IP rated, but I know that this isn't. Maybe it means it's variable power, because it does take anywhere from 100 to 240 volts. No clue. But anyways, On the far right here is our resettable safety fuse. Again, this makes us feel so much more professional, and it's also a safety feature that I love seeing on light fixtures. And another great thing about it is you can just take your Phillips, if this ever pops, and replace the fuse if it's blown, and then tighten it back. So great job on that as well. Something else that I loved that they got right on this fixture is an oversized rocker switch. So I no longer have to look for a power switch in the dark, because I can feel where this is, because it does take up a lot of real estate on the back of this light fixture. So I loved seeing that as well. Something they could have incorporated, and I could always do it if you're used to electricity. Obviously, don't be doing it if you know nothing about electricity, but I could always just replace this rocker with a lighted one. But I don't really feel like it needs it, because this is actually a rather large switch, and it does make an audible clicking sound, so I know that I've turned it on. So again, great job with the back I/O here. It looks great, and it's super easy and accessible. Now let's power this 300-watt mover on and take a look at the newly redesigned user interface. Alright, so it's going to start up and go through its reset procedures, checking all of the sensors to make sure the light fixture is working as it should. If you ever do have a problem, it's going to throw a red error code on that red LED light. So it has gone through all of its procedures for checking the motor, as well as the prisms and the color filter, frost filter. All of the motors built into this light fixture are going to be checked before the fixture will boot properly. So it takes about 54 seconds for this fixture to boot up. Just to give you guys an idea, there is a countdown on the main LCD display here. Let's go ahead and look at the new user interface. So after it's done booting up, you're going to be greeted with this home page here, and this is a newly redesigned graphical user interface. It looks very nice and polished. I'm actually impressed. You have a really cool logo here of the fixture. You have in large font your DMX address. Currently it's at 1. And then down here it's going to tell you if it is currently hooked up to DMX, which it is not. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the user interface now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. That's going to bring us to our main menu here. So our first submenu is address. You can set this fixture anywhere from 512 to 001. You can also set the channel mode from 20 to 23. So you have a channel A mode and a channel B mode. I prefer 23 because it's going to give you more options. And then we can just hit this left arrow button to go back. So very clean and polished user interface here. Our next submenu is Run Work. So our first menu on the submenu is DMX Control. You can pick DMX 512, Scene Mode, Sound Mode, Auto, or back to DMX 512. Scene mode, you can do auto or any of the 10 built-in scenes here on this fixture. So you do have a lot of ability to program this light fixture without even having a light console. So think of mobile DJs. They're going to love this option if they don't want to worry about being stuck behind a console all night. You can program your scenes into this fixture. MS mode. So MS is master slave. We have auto, which I'm going to leave it at, but you can manually select master or slave mode. Fan mode. We have turbo mode and silent mode. So we actually have two different modes here. The turbo mode is going to set the cooling power to full output. So the fan's going to be working efficiently at its fastest speed. And then we have silent mode, and this is for people who work in industries that require much quieter fixtures. And silent mode is going to basically be a hybrid and try to keep the fan at its lowest setting while still being able to cool the LED cob that's built into this fixture. So that's all the sub-menus under Run Work. Let's check out Display. Display. So we have first our language. You can select English or Chinese. Screensaver. There's several different modes for the screensaver. There's off, there's mode 1, there's mode 2, there's mode 3, there's mode 4. And basically what those are going to do is when this screen times out, it's going to show you different information. So you have the option of choosing to have a black screen if you don't want light, or you have several different screensavers that you can look at. And I think that's pretty cool because a lot of different people want different information on their screensaver. So this would be considered the screensaver here. So I have mine set to mode 4. Screen rotation. Auto, because it does have a sensor that can tell if it's upside down or right side up, but you can do forwards or reverse. Reverse is going to be upside down. Forward's going to be right side up. I would just leave it on auto and the fixture will do it for you. So that's pretty cool too. DMX indicator, there are three different modes for that, and by default it's on mode 3. So mode 3 is just going to indicate how bright the DMX LED is. So again, there's more options for fine-tuning this fixture just how you want it. So you can even set the brightness of this LED diode here for your DMX, and you can also do it for your signal. So you can select anywhere from what does it go up to? It looks like it's going up to 10 for brightness. Default's 5. Just leave it at 5. Screen light is your screen backlight. So as you can see, I'm actually currently dimming it, which actually looks like it's flashing on my camera, but it's not. It's just because of the PWM or pulse width modulation of the LED backlight, but it doesn't flicker when you're looking at it with your eyes. It's just a camera thing. But anyways, it's set to 10 as default, so I'm going to leave it there. And those are all the sub menus for display. So again, a lot of customization on this fixture. Scene. You can select your scene mode here and program it. Again, like I said earlier, you have 10 scenes you can program. So scene 1, I have it set to. You can select the scene time, the control mode, your pan, your tilt, your pan fine. You can select every attribute or function and program it into each scene just how you want it. So very cool feature. You have 23 DMX channels you can program for each scene. Scenes are stored permanently on the light fixture. You don't have to worry about them ever being erased. So I think that's pretty cool as well. Again, this is for people who don't have light controllers or consoles and they want a simple and easy to use fixture that's going to be able to run on its own. Advanced is our pan, invert, tilt, invert. So these are very important. I've had people ask me questions about this. And basically, if you have two of these fixtures and you don't want both of them turning to the left and then both turning to the right, you can hit your pan invert here, and one's going to go this way and one's going to go this way. That's the simplest I can explain it. It's the same for the tilt. If you don't want two fixtures tilting downwards, you can hit tilt invert, and one's going to be pointing downwards and one's going to be tilted upwards. So again, cool. And another thing that I like seeing on this fixture, and we have our pan tilt rectify, and that's on, and that's just going to adjust the pan and the tilt just in case it gets a little offset. We do have pan offset and tilt offset. I would just leave those at factory. Data hold is also cool. So data hold means, what is this fixture going to do when it loses its DMX signal? Is it going to go back to reset itself and turn everything off, or is it going to hold the last DMX signal data on the fixture? I prefer to leave it on because I don't want a dark stage at any point, unless I purposely want one, of course, but I just prefer to have data hold on, but you can turn it on or off. We have our scene time anywhere from 001 to 255. Factory setting. You do have to put a, let me see if I can do this. You do have to put a code in, I believe, to, oh, okay, I see what it's doing. So factory setting is just resetting this fixture back to its factory default, which is cool as well, just in case you play around with these and you mess something up. There we go. There's the password. So they do include a password, but they don't recommend you going in here unless you know what you're doing. I do go into these frequently, especially if I need to adjust a pan or a tilt because I don't think its value is matching up with its DMX channel. I will use the factory setting. So the password, if you want to calibrate this, and I don't recommend it unless you know what you're doing, is 1324. You can pretty much calibrate all of the motors on here, as well as your logo select, your check lamp, runtime clear, power decay, fan decay, your focus. You can pretty much do anything you want in the calibration menu. Our last menu is info. We're going to go ahead and select that. Info is going to give you a lot of information on this light fixture. So for instance, we have our motor info. It's going to tell you if they're all working correctly, which they are. They're all normal. We also have our error logging. You want to see no error on there, so that's good. We have our fixture status. So we have our communications at 100%. Error is at 0. It gives you the temperature of the light, the panel, and also your two temperature sensors inside the fixture. We have our version number. So manufacturer says beam spot. It should say SHEHDS or SHEHDS, but it says beam spot. Device is a moving headlight. Model is 300 LED. We have our panel, our main board information as well, which looks like it was released November 28th of 2024. The current run time is 55 minutes. The light time has been at 0 because this is a brand new fixture. And our total time for the entire fixture is 1 hour and 1 minute. We also have our history of errors, which is very important as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of control of this fixture, and there's a lot of information on here. So it's great to see that they've included all of this stuff with their newest GUI or graphical user interface. SHEHDS has included a powerful 300 watt LED cob or chip on board. capable of a super cool 9000K white light. This LED pierces through haze with its 55,000 lux at 16 feet using the 2-degree beam angle. Alright, so something I noticed, and it's a little off track, but not really because this is a in-depth review, is the LED array. This 300 watt LED array right here is super impressive. I haven't seen one that is stacked like this on a cob in a flower shape, so it actually looks really cool. And you can use your 16-bit linear dimming, so your fine dimming, to just kind of strike the LED on and off without it being super bright. So when it's off, it's yellow, which is a traditional cob color for the LEDs. And then when we turn it on, you get that little bit of light there. That looks super amazing. And this LED is super bright on this. I mean, it's blinding, literally. The brightness will of course be less when using the frost filter or wider beam angles, but it's still impressively bright. The GalaxyJet 300 watt BSW has a 16-bit linear dimming system. Let's see how well it dims. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 9000K white light just to show you guys how well this fixture can dim. So I'm going to bring this all the way up to 100%. And at 100%, I'm going to say it is impressively bright. We do have a nice circle here as well, so our spot looks great. Now I'm going to go ahead and dim this down to 0%. So we have a really smooth dimmer here. It's definitely theater quality dimming. There's very little, if any, stepping on the lower end here. It's either on or it's a very smooth fade to black. I can kind of show you that as well on this paper. So see how smooth that is? There's very little, if any, stepping on this. So this is definitely theater quality dimming, and it looks great on this fixture. They've also included a 20 Hertz strobe. Let's see how quickly the strobe refreshes. So I'm going to use the traditional white here. I'm not going to bring it all the way up because, like I said, this thing is super bright. Even in my studio, which is 20 feet long, this thing pierces through it all the way to the back wall. So we're going to just keep it at a medium brightness. And let's go ahead and check out our strobe because I want to see how well this excels at strobing. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up just a little bit. See if we can't get that 1 strobe per second. Okay, so this is the slowest the GalaxyJet is going to strobe. It's a little faster than 1 strobe per second, but it looks great. And we're going to go ahead and bring this channel up. And the higher up we go, the faster this is going to strobe all the way to open for our shutter. So this is the fastest it strobes, and it actually looks really good. It's a very convincing strobe effect. It's strobing so fast that, as you can see on this piece of paper, it almost looks like a solid spot here. And if I slow this down, now we're getting a much more traditional looking strobe. And then we can slow it down even more. So as you can see, the strobe is actually really great on this fixture. And it's something it does well. And we can also get random strobe on here, which I love. So you can go ahead and do a random strobe, like I'm doing right here. It's almost a pulse effect. This is something cool that I haven't seen on a lot of fixtures for their strobe channel. It's almost like an SOS effect. And you can, of course, speed that up as well. And they also have random strobe. So random strobe is going to give you that really nice random speed that you can't necessarily get when you're programming. So this random strobe's great too. And you can increase the speed of the random strobe all the way up to our 255 value, which would be back to open. So this is our fastest random strobe. As you can see, it does random bursts instead of a solid 20 hertz per second. It's doing them at random. It gives you a really great look. So great job with the strobe on the GalaxyJet. Something I haven't seen on too many fixtures is a 16-bit color system. So let's see how much control we have over our color wheel. And I'm kind of excited about this because I haven't honestly seen a 16-bit control system for your color wheel. Alright, so our first color here is red. Looks great. We have our yellow, and this yellow looks amazing too. These colors are super vibrant and saturated. We have our blue, and I love the wavelength they chose for blue. It's almost that midnight navy, I want to say ultraviolet blue, very close to UV. So wavelength is great on the blue. We have our green. Green looks amazing as well. We have our orange. Orange looks beautiful. We have magenta. Magenta is super saturated. It looks amazing as well. We have a much brighter hunter green here. Looks great. Love the color. And we have a light blue, baby blue color. Looks amazing. Let's see. We have what I like to call bubblegum pink. It looks great as well. And then we have, I'm trying to get to our white here, which I believe is just open. So yeah, it's just basically open. And then we of course have split colors, as you can see. So we can do split colors. I love the split color effect. It makes everything look so much cooler. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and check out our clockwise and counterclockwise movement. So as you can see, it can flip through the colors pretty quickly, which is always a good thing. And you can, of course, speed it up and slow it down. And we can, of course, go in the other direction as well. So this actually goes super fast on its color wheel, and it does a very convincing rainbow effect. I love seeing that. Now let's see what happens when I want to do a 16-bit control. Look how fine of a control you can get. That kind of looks like a Pokeball. That's kind of cool. Look how fine of control you can get on your color wheel when you're using a 16-bit system. So super smooth color wheel on your 16-bit channel here. I love seeing precise control of our color wheel. And this even works for our clockwise and counterclockwise. We can go super slow on this using 16-bit. So definitely a great job on that as well. The color system on this is very nice. Go ahead and take a look at the Gobos. We have 5 static Gobos plus an animation plus our open on our static wheel. So let's go ahead and look at these and just see what they look like real fast. We have our open. We also have a reducer, so it's going to make your spot even smaller to get that super tight beam angle. Here's our first Gobo. It's cool looking. Our second. Our third, we have 4 dots. They're cool. Another neat looking Gobo. And this is our animation wheel. So basically, you can create a wave type animation or even a fire type animation with it. And then of course we do have shaking on these as well. Don't forget the shaking effect. And you can, of course, make the speed of the shaking faster or slower. And this looks really cool. So this is the animation wheel on the shaking effect. So it's going back and forth. It makes a really cool look to it. And then, of course, we can also do our rotation and adjust the speed of it from clockwise to counterclockwise. And slow it down, and we're going to go counterclockwise. So the Gobo wheel on this is actually pretty fast. So if you're looking for super fast changes with your Gobos, this is going to be one of those fixtures you're going to want to get. Alright, so now we're going to go over one of my personal favorites, which is the glass Gobos. And you're getting 7 glass Gobos with SHEHDS GalaxyJet. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. I'm going to go ahead and focus this in, and I am going to mention to you that the focus on this is super sharp. So everything looks great, even the glass Gobos. We have some pretty cool designs. Look at that, there's a snowflake. I love the snowflake, that's cool. And you can, of course, do Gobo shake, as well as rotation. And you can go clockwise or counterclockwise, and you can speed it up or slow it down. But these Gobos are super cool looking. This one's going to look really cool when we take a look at the rotation wheel. So this fixture is packed with a lot of cool things. We also have a 16-bit focusing system. So let's take a look at how sharp the Gobos are. Currently right now I have this one in focus, super crisp, super sharp. The edges are sharp and clean on it. You're not getting a weird halo effect. It's literally the lights just going straight through the glass Gobo. It looks great. I'm going to go ahead and blur this or unfocus it just to show you guys how cool this is. So if you totally unfocus this, you can get a cool wash out of it. And then we're going to slowly come into focus here. So super sharp images. And the focus system is super smooth. I'm going to show you from one end to the other. Super fast and responsive focusing. And you can get it just how you want it with the 16-bit system. So your focus is going to be spot on with this fixture. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the zoom on the 300-watt beam spot wash. I'm about 15 feet away from this back wall back here in my studio, and we're just going to see just how well this zooms as well as the beam angle at its widest. So currently right now this Gobo, it's a glass Gobo, is at its smallest with the zoom. And as you can see, you have very nice control of the zoom. So this is about the largest it's going to be with a glass Gobo for your zoom. And we're going to go ahead and show you just how quickly it can zoom. So the zoom's not super fast on this. I'm going from max to min, but it's not bad either. It looks great. Let's try some different Gobos here. So we can do that, and then we're gonna of course have to focus it. Get it into focus. There we go. So as you can see, the zoom is going to be a really great tool for you, and also your focus. So we can focus this right down to its smallest zoom level. So this Gobo is now perfectly in focus at its smallest. But let's go ahead and take out our glass Gobo and see just how small of a beam angle we can create. So this is our reducer spot. Gonna try to focus it here. So this is as small as this reducer is going to get. And we can of course zoom in and out, but theoretically this is the smallest beam angle you are going to get with this fixture. And I'm going to say it's pretty small. I mean, it's directly on this poster back here, about 15 feet away. So the beam angle looks great with our zoom as well. All right, so now we're going to check out Gobo Rotation. And this is for the glass Gobos. And as you can see, you do have fine control of it, clockwise or counterclockwise. Right now we're rotating counterclockwise, and we can also go clockwise, and you can control the speed of it. This is the fastest the rotation is going to be on your glass Gobos here. But they look really cool. You can create some really chaotic looks with the Gobo shake. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the frost filter. And this frost filter actually covers a very wide area, so definitely keep that in mind. But let's just go ahead and take a look and see just how wide of an area it covers. So I'm going to go ahead and focus this in. So this is a wash here with our frost filter. And as you can see, the brightness definitely diminishes, but you are getting a very wide beam angle, definitely more than the 22 degrees that they stated. but I believe the 22 degrees is for a spot and not the wash. But this wash is going to cover a very broad range, and you can, of course, zoom in and out on this just to get it just the way you want it. There we go. So this is our zoom in wash, and you can of course try to focus it too, but you're not going to be able to because, well, it's a diffuser, so it's not going to happen. But this is the tightest you can get on this wash. We can also do our different colors as well. So we have some really cool colors going on here with the built-in wash. And again, this is our frost filter. You can turn the frost filter on and off. It's pretty smooth effect. And we can make the frost filter zoom out so it's much wider. And then we can zoom it back in. All right, so now we're going to look at our prism here, and you can do the prism with any of your Gobos. Let's go ahead and activate it, which is a 5 prism. It's going to give you 5 distinct images of your Gobos, and you can, of course, pick whatever Gobo you want. You can also use your glass Gobos. And then you're going to have to focus them because they're going to be a little bit out of focus, but there's our focus. And so you can get some really cool effects with this, including if you're going to use rotation. So as you can see, we can rotate these and get some really trippy effects going on. I mean, look how cool these look, and they're super sharp. I don't even have the brightness turned all the way up because it's an actually really bright fixture. So I could turn the brightness up on this. We're 15 feet away from this back wall. There's our max brightness. Look at that smooth. That's like that is a theater smooth dimming. I mean, you're not getting any steps. It's going right to blackout. So great job on that as well. These look really cool. I'm actually really impressed with this fixture, and it's kind of hard to impress me. So I'm also baffled at how they can sell this for what they're selling it at. The price point is spot on. I mean, look at these colors. Ooh, that's cool. Got bubblegum pink. And we got our light blue. That looks awesome. Look at that. Alright, so something I like to do is a sound test mode with light fixtures. So I have removed my external microphone to give you guys a better idea of how loud the fans are on this light fixture. This is important to some people in certain industries that require a quiet light fixture, such as theater settings, some church settings, and anything that requires the control of sound for your stage or studio. So what I'm going to do is get this to crank up to its highest speed. Right now the fans are at their idle speed, so they are on. Go ahead and take a listen. We are about 2 feet away from the camera, so keep that in mind. But this is how loud it is at idle. Now what I'm going to do is go into our scene mode, and I'm going to turn the dimmer all the way up so we can get these fans to start going. So I'm going to put this at 255, and then we are going to tilt this thing out of the way so we can get a clear view of the fan. There we go. So the fans are right here. They just kicked on, the second pair of fans. Let's hear how loud they get at full spin. So as you can hear, the fan speed is picking up. This is an active cooling system with a variable speed fan built into it. I would also like to point out that this is in turbo mode. There are two different fan profiles for this fixture. We're going to look at both. Turbo mode is going to give you the loudest fan sound, but it's also going to cool your LEDs the best. So by factory, it's set to turbo mode, but as you can hear, the fans are kicking up. They're getting louder. So again, we're about 2 feet away. These fans are noticeably loud in turbo mode. I can hear them. I'm about 3 feet away from this fixture. I can also hear them at about 10 feet away. So the fans are loud on this fixture, but you also have to remember this is turbo mode. We have another mode for people that are concerned about sound noise, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Alright, so we are back to our idle mode. I let the LED cool down so we can get a fair review of this. As you can see, I'm down here in run work mode, run work menu, and I'm going to choose fan mode. We're going to take it off turbo and put it into silent mode. So let's hear this. Okay, so I noticed in silent mode, when it is in idle, the fans up here have stopped, so that has cut down on the sound from the fans. Let's hear how loud they get though when this LED is at full. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back up. Okay, we are at full on the LED, so that's the full 300 watts. Let's hear how loud the fans get in silent mode. The fans just kicked in. So silent mode, I already noticed, and I'm sure you can hear, much quieter. The fans are running, but you can't hear them because they're not in turbo mode spinning at their maximum RPM. They are dialed down, so they are still cooling the LEDs, but they're doing so at a much quieter speed. So silent mode is great on this, and I'm glad SHEHDS included it in their GalaxyJet series, because again, sound is very important to a lot of people. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys listen to this. This is at its highest LED output, and the fans are spinning at their fastest on silent mode. Something else I like to do in my sound test is the motors to see how loud they are, if they have a coil whine to them, etc. And I also like to show you guys just how quickly this fixture is capable of panning and tilting. So this has its typical 270, 540, and we're going to look at that right now, as well as kind of just hear how loud the motors are, if there's any sort of a motor noise to it. So what I'm going to do is move this back to 0 on its pan, and we're going to test the pan speed right now from 0 to 540 degrees. So it takes about 2 seconds for it to do a full 540, and the motors aren't super loud, which is great. You're getting a smooth motion with this, and that is also due to the 16-bit channel for pan. So let's go ahead and check this out again, and we'll do it one more time. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our tilt, because tilt is another thing people like to know about. So this is the maximum it's capable of tilting downwards. I wished it could go a little further down, but this is its default, and we're going to see how fast it tilts. So we're going to go to our tilt. So it takes about 1 second for it to tilt from 0 to 270 degrees. And the tilt motors are even more silent than the pan motor, so you can barely hear these as well. SHEHDS GalaxyJet 300 watt BSW has a all new RGB ring light around the perimeter of the lens. These are not bright enough for illuminating a stage, but are for supplemental lighting and effect when viewing the fixture head on as the audience. Let's take a look at some of the dynamic macros built into this ring light. So I do have my exposure down so we can see the true colors, because if my exposure's up, it washes out the colors of the ring. So this is going to give you a more generalized idea of what the colors look like. So here's our red and then our green. And as you can see here, it barely shows up on this piece of paper, so it's not super bright, but again, this is for effect and not for illuminating your stage. It actually looks really great and makes this fixture pop, especially with the colors. And we're actually getting what looks like a dedicated white as well. So this is an RGBW ring light. Even better. That's why I like doing these in-depth reviews, so we can get more informed information. What do we have here? We have a magenta, looks great. We have our yellow. We have a light blue. It could even be a cool white. That's a really cool color. I like this color. It's like a salmon pink. Looks super cool. Now we're getting into the built-in macros. And one thing I want to point out is you can in fact adjust the speed of these with the effect speed channel. So you could slow this down like I've done here, or you can speed it up. So you do have control of your effect speed as well. Let's take a look at some of the other macros here. This looks really cool. So this is kind of like a ring chase. We have a red and green chase. We have a red, green, and blue chase. This looks great as well. We have a red, green, blue, and white chase. And as you can see, these macros are super dynamic. They're going to give you a lot of neat looks to them. So we are still going through the channel here. I'm at 120. This is kind of a play on cyan, magenta, and white. Here's our red, green, and blue again. This one is kind of jumping through the colors as well as a chase. So it's a super cool looking effect. So these effects are actually super smooth. You're not getting any sort of lag with the SMDs here. So these are surface mounted diode LEDs. It's similar to strip lights that you might have at your house. And it does have a diffuser over it, which is this white ring around the lens here. That's cool. So we're almost at the end of the built-in macros. Here's kind of a stacking effect. Looks cool. It's going through different colors. And that is the end of the built-in macros for the Ring. Something else you might be wondering, does this strobe? And the answer is yes, we can get this to strobe as well. And does the strobe look good? It actually has a very convincing strobe. It looks great. They don't give you the refresh number for this, but if I had to tell you from looking at it at its highest strobe, I'm going to say it's close to 15 hertz. It's not quite as fast as the Cobb, but as you can see, even from my camera, it does look like a solid color, so it is strobing quite fast. And then, of course, you can slow the strobe down here to 1 strobe per second. And we can speed it back up. You can also, of course, change the color of the strobe. You can also strobe with the built-in macros. So the built-in macros can be running and can be strobing at the same time, which also makes a really cool looking effect. And you can slow the effect speed down while it is strobing, or speed it up, and just make really cool looks with this. So you can definitely play around with this and make some really cool looking effects, like this one for instance. That looks cool. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what it looks like with a higher exposure now that I'm not concerned about blowing out the colors. I'm gonna go ahead, we're on strobe right now, and this is at its brightest, by the way. So again, not super bright, but it's not meant to be. It's supposed to complement the light fixture when people are looking at it. So this is about as bright as it is, and as you can see, it's not even really supplying any light to my hand. So one great thing about this is it's not going to spill onto your stage, so you're still going to have complete control of the Cobb here. But if you are a band or musicians, people like DJs, they love this look. You're of course probably not going to use this in a theater setting, but you will use it for a church setting, maybe. or weddings, anything where you want your audience to see your light fixture. I'm going to leave a link down below. If you have any questions or comments about SHEHDS 300 watt beam spot wash, again, this is their newest model, go ahead and leave it down below. I do respond to all questions and comments as quickly as I can. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I love seeing interacting with my fan base and also people that share the same passion and interests as me, which is stage lighting, DJ lighting, atmospherics, and equipment. If any of that stuff interests you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry. And thank you guys for watching.